Windows, why do you hate me? Why do you want me to use another operating system? I really want to know, Windows. Anywho, I think we need to talk about Windows again, because it just continues to piss me off on a daily basis. I really just want to use it. I would love to never touch Mac OS or Linux and just use this operating system. I know it. I've used it for over 2 decades. I have 11 different professional certifications from Microsoft to use this thing. I know it forwards and backwards, and it just continues to piss me the ever-living F off. Microsoft, why do you destroy Windows? All right, sorry. Lost my shit for a second there. We need to talk about the latest 22H2 update, because this is the stuff that makes me hate Windows. This makes me say I'd rather be in Mac, and most people know I really don't like Apple. So with Microsoft, let's take a peek here at just their settings, right? The Windows 11 aesthetic, by the way, I kind of like Windows 11 aesthetic. It's actually kind of nice. And when you go into the settings menu, it looks pretty good. I see what they're trying to do, and I can appreciate this aspect of it. However, what I don't appreciate is them just completely hamstringing us users that have used Windows to fix things. Because this past a couple days back, I was just troubleshooting a printer issue, and I was like, oh, no worries. It's okay. We're just going to pull up printers. And usually what you do is, let's say you have your little run command. You can just type control and then just pull up devices and printers. And this normally would pull up the old devices and printers, not this Fisher-Price version, or people that just don't know computers. That's fine. You know, hey, add device. That's what we have. More printers. They hide this screen, which drives me crazy. It's in here sometimes, but sometimes they hide it too, and you just can't ever get to it to change things, which kind of bothers me. And I would love it if they just left all this intact. Like, why did they have to mess this up? No one ever does this, and they even remapped some of the shortcut keys. So, like, when you go into your run box and you type control printers, we used to just type that in. Well, that used to pull up the printers page. I digress. Let's just go and show you how to get to this, because once you get to here, you can just do an add printer. You say, hey, I want a printer that's not listed, and then you can just manually type everything in and select it either by IP, if you have that, or add local printer. The other issue I was running into here as well was when I said I want a printer that's not listed, it was redirecting me to a website on the home edition of Windows 11. So Windows 11 Home is complete garbage, in my opinion. There's so much stuff they strip out of it. And I even saw like a really good Linus Tech Tip video about some like Windows tips. And he said, hey, install Group Policy Editor just using GPEdit on Windows. So if you just do gpedit.msc on Windows Home, this wouldn't be there, but you could do a little trick to install it. But the problem with that trick was that he showed was it didn't actually install the actual foundation for Group Policy Editor. So you would edit stuff in Group Policy and then it just would never get applied inevitably. So you need to expand it further to ungimp Windows Home. But if you have traditional Home, just the add printer box like this right here, the latest version I was troubleshooting someone's PC on, this was gone. Clicking this link right here just redirected me to a web page, and they removed these features. They're removing a lot of the troubleshooting or advanced power users, and it's driving power users away from Windows. I'd even go as venture to say here in about a year, if you're a power user on Windows, Microsoft will actively try and get you to use another operating system because they just hate you. At least that's how it feels to me. So let's say they do hide all this. One solace you can take from Microsoft is they never really remove anything. They just paper over it and then give you a new fresh coat of paint. So even if all this is, and they remove this more devices, printer, and settings, which eventually they will get rid of in some form or fashion, there is actually a direct solution to launch it through a shell command. Shell commands are great. I've used them in the past to run like common startup is a great way to troubleshoot startup items and things of that nature. But there's another way to get to devices and printers, and it's a good way to get in here and add or troubleshoot a printer. Just one way, but you can see some of this stuff is a bit half-baked because you are still using this newer file explorer, so you don't have a lot of the add, remove, printer icons. So it's good, but they tried to do a little too much here, and it's just not completely baked. One, if you're a business, don't use Windows 11, of course. In the off chance you do, you're not going crazy. It's Microsoft not properly bug testing their product, where you can still pull up this old shell. So if there was a printer to troubleshoot, you can still come in here and open it up. But like the context menus and some other things, they're just changing and they're trying to do too much and not leaving a lot of the ability to troubleshoot some of these printers. Like the right click command's not even working for me here. It could be something I did, but more often than not, it's just this new update. So, it's just Microsoft. Woof. And then to show you another shell command, like why these are so good, is you can do common startup, and that pulls up your startup programs. Another really good one is shell startup, which is user-based startup. Common startup is all users. This one kind of has a user-based startup. So those are cool. Two more shell commands I probably should add to here as well. It's just I was running this printer command with the Windows 11 Home, and at the end of the day, it was one of the only times I haven't been stumped for years on a Windows box. And Windows 11, this latest update, they managed to break more than I've ever seen them break, to where I couldn't fix that particular problem other than to say, hey, let me upgrade you to a Windows 11 Pro. I could have shelled out $100 or whatever for the update. Or you could just reformat to Windows 10. There's a lot of solutions here, but most of it involved reinstalling Windows, to where, it's rare I ever tell any user or ever have to reinstall Windows to fix a problem. And this is the first time in several years I've seen that. So Microsoft, please stop destroying Windows and forcing your users to go to other operating systems. Please. As someone that does this and has to troubleshoot your operating system as my profession for the past 20 years, I would appreciate it if you just stop screwing stuff up so bad. You're a multi-billion-dollar company, you're a trillion-dollar company. This shouldn't happen. Rant off.